The Battle of Sharqat, the final engagement on the Mesopotamian Front during World War I, marked the British regional commander-in-chief Sir William Marshall's successful seizure of control over the Mosul oilfields situated north of Baghdad. This battle, which took place from October 23 to October 30, 1918, pitted the British against the Ottoman Empire in the Mesopotamian campaign and turned out to be the last confrontation between these belligerents before the signing of the Armistice of Mudros. In the lead-up to the Battle of Sharqat, activity along the Mesopotamian front had been relatively subdued. Nevertheless, the British government, under Lloyd George's leadership in London, directed Marshall to eliminate as much of the remaining Turkish influence from the region as possible in the weeks just prior to the expected Turkish armistice. This objective had previously been accomplished in Palestine. Consequently, Sir Alexander Cobby was tasked with leading a combined Anglo-Indian force from Baghdad on October 23, 1918. Their progress was impressively swift, covering 120 kilometers within 2 days and reaching the Little Zab River, where they intended to confront the Turkish Sixth Army led by Ismail Hakkı Bey. However, upon realizing that Cobby's force was threatening his army's rear, Hakkı decided to retreat his forces, moving approximately 100 kilometers north to Sharqat. Despite the fact that the combined Anglo-Indian force had not yet breached his lines, Hakkı surrendered to Cobby within a day. The Ottoman Empire was in a state of disarray, and an armistice was both desirable and imminent. General Hakkı, who was aware of the negotiations for an armistice, preferred to save as many of his soldiers as possible. During this final battle in Mesopotamia, the British took 18,000 Turkish soldiers as prisoners with many more wounded and killed, while their own losses amounted to just under 2,000 men. The Armistice of Mudros was signed on October 30, 1918, and both parties agreed to maintain their current positions. General Marshall accepted the surrender of Khalil Pasha and the Ottoman Sixth Army on the same day. However, General Cobby advanced on Mosul in violation of the armistice, to grab the oil-rich areas in northern Iraq, despite the request of Ottoman Commander-in-Chief Ali Ihsan Pasha for the British forces to withdraw to the positions they had held at the armistice. Mosul itself was peacefully occupied by an Indian cavalry division 2 weeks after the Battle of Sharqat, officially falling into British hands on November 14, 1918. The war in Mesopotamia was over on November 14, 1918, 15 days after the armistice and 1 day after the occupation of Constantinople. And the ownership of Mosul province and its rich oil fields became an international issue.